Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Finally, senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non binary friends, and welcome to this brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. I had therapy today, and I am actually feeling more depressed now than I was before I started. So, thumbs up for that. But at least I wanted to get something started, and as a real quick thing that just popped into my head, they have announced the next two-chapter release on the Liminal Core game, 25th of January apparently, at which point I will be doing videos on those. So thumbs up on that. Yay! But I did write down some things, so I wanted to talk about that because depressed though I am, I do need to run my mouth. One of them has it's a really horrific story. You may have heard, if you're online, of the game. Of course you're online. I mean, if you're more online than terminally online and all that. Good God, I can't speak English. Game called Limbo of the Lost. Ages ago, people have done very long videos just tearing the game apart. Absolute, just horrible games. And the stolen art throughout the entire thing. Just horrific. But after the people that made the game came out with the game, and it got yanked from the shelves in the United States, the people that made it dropped out of sight entirely. And the thing that I just watched was ages back, there was a Swedish website where one of the people that wrote for it found the people that did it. This was like 5, 6, 7, I don't know how many years after, but it was after. And tracked two of them down to talk to them, to find out what happened. The one person that he couldn't find, the culprit of them all. The culprit of them all? That's not English, but it kind of works. The most culpable of them all. A very bad person. But the Limbo of the Lost, it was just absolute plagiarism nightmare. But there was like Steve something or other, Tim Croucher, and then a Lawrence or I can't remember his exact name, but he was younger than I am, and he died some years back. I don't know what or why. But he did voices and music. Tim Croucher did stories and some puzzles. And the Steve fellow, who was a friend of the two, did everything else. So they had no real, the two of the three had no real idea what was going on with the game other than just writing and music and voice acting. The big plagiarism fellow was the person that they counted as their friend. And he was assuring them everything was being handled on his end. He was doing it all. It was his stuff. It was good. And it was fine. And then when it came out, of course, their careers were destroyed. But this fellow, again, tracked them down and were able to talk to them. The fellow that died, he was actually pretty nice, had a YouTube channel, but was really, really nice. Gave the person that interviewed them a box of stuff, including, like physical copies of the game and script, stuff like that. But the person that wrote the game, Tim Croucher, he was, I don't know what's going on with him now, but at the time of the writing, he was a broken, hurt man. He, during this entire interview, called it a curse. He wished he had never opened up the book about the Marie Celeste. Which, if you've heard about that ship where, it was floating around and nobody was found on it, Well, he was fascinated by that story, and that's what Limbo the Lost was about. The main character in the game, Benjamin Spooner something or other, I believe, was a real guy. And he wrote that story about them. But he calls it a curse. And he wishes he had never opened up the book and found out about it. He just wanted something that he could point to and say, I did this. That he could be remembered for. A legacy. A weird thing of sorts to attach your wanting to leave a mark for yourself on. But if that's what he thought, then fine and good. And that's what he wanted. And instead, everything got yanked out from underneath him and destroyed. But he still says, well, at least up to the point of the interview, that he was proud of it because he could point to it and say, that is mine. I made this. He was proud of the story, even though he got kind of pushed out by his friend toward the end. The company, the guy that screwed them, took a good 50% of everything. And then a smaller percentage to that Lawrence. And then Tim got just a tiny little sliver. But one of the things, after talking and interviewing Tim and interviewing Lawrence, and all this, they got out a different box of things and they were going through it. And there was the script for the sequel that, of course, never came out. And Lawrence was really hesitant to show it even to Tim because his friend Steve, for all that he'd kept him such a small sliver on this first game, wanted him out entirely on the second. Just out. And it just broke him when they went through it because they handed him the script for the second game. And as he was reading through it, he was just, this is my story. I wrote this. So he was going to get screwed even harder. When I'd heard about it before, this whole thing, I wondered about who these people were. Of those three, two of them were victims as well as everyone else. Hokey smokes. I felt so bad for the guy. I can only hope his life is better. Let's see if I have anything else written up here. As a real quick aside, because of the whole TikTok ban thing coming up and how people are reacting to that, as this one fellow that I've just started watching was saying, we live in a completely unserious world right now because people are flocking to, I can't remember what the name of the app is, but there is an app to replace TikTok that is just a flat out program made by the Chinese government. And this one fellow is absolutely just, he's horrified that people would do all this stuff. You know, because who knows what you're handing over, who knows what's in the program, who knows what could go on your phone later, who knows. So, it's a nightmare. But I like the way this guy talks. And even though he's younger than me, but he's an older fellow, so he's not one of these people you would expect to see like on TikTok, but he's got a TikTok presence, and he's upset about the TikTok ban, but he's happy to make YouTube the new place to be. But one of the reasons I watch him is, like I say, he must be near 40 or early 40s, but he has the most spectacular hair. It goes straight up right here and then it comes downward in the front and is just very, not spiky, but it's longer but goes up and before it comes out. And it's like, oh, yeah, I like it. But he's an interesting fellow. Is there anything else that I have on here that's even halfway interesting? I watched a movie way back when I was trying to get sober, and in one of the places that I had gone to get sober, we were watching movies, and one of them was a movie called The Ninth Gate. I liked that movie, The Ninth Gate. It had Johnny Depp in it. It was about a book seller slash collector type person and going through the world of book collecting, but also people there were trying to use these books and rituals to make some sort of deal with Satan, and people were dying and Johnny Depp was going through, but there was this one person that kept helping him out, this one young woman, and it's kind of an ambiguous ending, but I like the film. I only am able to see surface stuff, and even I enjoyed it. So I saw a video talking about hands and stuff, and so I couldn't remember exactly. Did some looking up, and if you've never heard the name Roman Polanski, then you're lucky. He got run out of the U.S. like decades ago for doing carnal things with those who are legally too young to do so, and so has been living outside the United States and doing stuff, was always a filmmaker. And of course it was a Roman Polanski film, so now I feel guilty about liking it. So how about that? And then I'm going to sort of wrap this all up here with a quick thing about some of my other cryptid characters. I have one character, Polly, Polly. She's a young cryptid, human type cryptid. She lives out in a park basically, but she has human friends and so occasionally dresses up like a person, does human stuff. But her parents are two other cryptids called Clausy and Alan. And they're a nice couple, about as good as you can get for cryptids of that type. They're pair bonded. Clausy, she finds human beings just largely frustrating. She doesn't like being around us too much. She likes people, but we're always standing around and thinking about things. And if we're not actually thinking about things, we're walking around and talking to each other about the things that we're thinking about. That drives her nuts. She gets frustrated. She doesn't want to hurt people, so she just doesn't hang around people all that much because she does not like using her brain for such stupid stuff as thinking and thought processes. She can't stand it, so she doesn't deal with people a whole lot. Her husband, Alan, he really likes people, though. He's a people cryptid. You have a person, but he likes to be around people. He talks to people. He gives other people gifts, and he's basically a child in cryptid form. And I say a child, not that he's no, he's just a very simple individual, simple in that he's uncomplicated. And you don't have to be complicated in the cryptid world that they live in. It's not like you have a job. It's not like there's a government. It's not like you have to do anything other than wake up, eat, drink, eliminate, sleep, do it all again the next day. In the meantime, you might want to do stuff like have fun, maybe procreate, And if not procreate, at least engage in that activity with others who would like to do so as well. So there's nothing really to fill their life with other than doing whatever they want to do. And so Alan spends a large part of his time just hanging around with people and doing stuff. Clausy does things hanging around with her cryptid friends. Whenever they get lonely, they seek each other out and then hang around, which means they spend most of their time hanging out. They are a couple after all. So, but that's Clausy and Alan. Yay! They're good, happy cryptids, which is cryptids of that type, that's all they do. They just wake up and do stuff and then go to sleep. Thumbs up. Clausy, they're both like cryptids, but Clausy, she doesn't get really hungry. Over the last 20 years, she's only killed and eaten 14 human beings. So it's not like she's really a danger. And Alan, he's never killed anybody. He's eaten a lot of people, but he's never killed anybody. Polly, she's really hungry though. She doesn't have to eat anybody. No light cryptid does. She just really likes the way we taste, and so she eats about 4 or 5 people a year. A year? It'd be better for the human race if that was true. No, she's pretty typical for younger cryptids that are actually hungry. About 4 or 5 people a month. It's a lot. And of course, call to action. If you could like, comment, share, subscribe, that'd be very cool. Making sure to share only, of course, with people that you think would like watching an old man yammer on about a relatively inane subject in a relatively incomprehensible fashion. Thumbs up for that, and yay. And of course, if you are a patron, thumbs up and thank you. You are beautiful and awesome. I have not had enough spoons ever since it turned into winter, and you have my sincere apologies. Hopefully soon I'll be able to have the energy to get names up here again, or at least read some out. Thumbs up, thank you for your patience. For everybody that leaves me a comment, you two are beautiful and awesome people in your own way. I read every comment that YouTube shows me. I thumbs up and heart each comment that YouTube will allow me. And what's that other part? Oh yes, I answer as many comments as my nerve compression will allow, and that is a very, very good thing. Which, good in that it allows me to answer any at all. But boy, oh boy, it sure feels like I got a knife in my back at the end of most days. Thumbs up though, good to be alive. Well, I am going to edit, render, upload. I want to go to the community center. I've got stuff, laundry that I want to wash in the washing machines, things like that. So I got stuff that I've got to do and stuff that I want to do. And edit, render, upload. Hopefully you can get done the things that you want to get done, because that would be a very good thing. But of course, if you cannot, please do not beat yourself up. It will not help you get it done better next time. And it will not help you get it done better next time. And beating yourself up, you deserve better. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very, very good thing. Especially, no words of wisdom right now. I went into my therapy feeling only mildly depressed, and came out of it feeling heavy-duty depressed. And it hasn't gotten any better since then, which is not the end of the world. This happens, and I realize that a lot of it is external forces, so not the end of the world. Part of it, I do understand, even though this I found out after I got depressed from my therapy session. But, my view count on my Minecraft video. Ouch. Oh, oh, so easily I am wounded. Ah, it's pathetic, ain't it? Well, I of course would think so, but then I am my own worst critic, as are we all. You take care.